Imagine sick people have died on their way to the hospital because of bad roads. Bad roads are a big obstacle to economic development. Look at the women who toil the land 12 months of the year. They grow vegetables during the dry season. And most of their produce perish as a result of bad roads, becoming a huge impediment of socioeconomic development. Unless we tackle that problem, there cannot be meaningful socioeconomic development, because people have to have not only access, but safe access to their fields, safe access to the markets, comfortable access to everywhere, so that we will be able to produce whatever we have to produce and be able to transport it on time to its market or destination. That is why I'm concentrating on the roads, because without that, this country cannot develop. Communication is very important.
Yeah. Your Excellency, in some quarters, you have been highly praised and commended for your development efforts over the last 5 years. But in other quarters, you have been criticized for corruption. You've been accused of corruption. How do you feel about this?
You see, when people accuse me of corruption, I laugh. Because corruption is a sign of, in fact, it's the highest stage of greed. You are greedy, you want to get wealth or get whatever at the detriment of others, or to the detriment of others. And you want to get it anyhow, moral or immoral. And that leads to corruption. Does it really make sense to you as an average human being, as a Gambian? That Jammeh, who is greedy and corrupt because he wants to be rich, he wants to grab everything, spends all his money on people. We've seen corruption, what it means, a difference of, we have seen corruption. When there was corruption, we knew. How many people have their children sponsored by the government or by an individual in government? Does it really make sense to you? If I have to steal to enrich myself, and instead of taking it, I'll give it to people. I am not afraid of any human being on this earth. I'm not afraid of anything in this world. I'm only afraid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who knows everything that I do. Of course, if a government official is corrupt, that doesn't mean that Jammeh is corrupt. After all, I have done my best and I'm doing my best to make sure that there is no corruption. That is why anybody who fails to toe the line that I want, we get rid of him before he engages in anything that is unbecoming of a public official. I want to develop this country. Do you think if I am corrupt, we will develop this country? But the thing is, that is the only thing they can see, and they cannot prove it. Remember, they were saying that they have been talking about a Swiss bank account, quoting numbers. But nobody ever made an attempt to go and find out who owns that account. What is there to prevent the detractors and enemies of this country from opening an account and claim that it belongs to Jammeh? Let them ask the Swiss authorities to investigate whether I have a Swiss bank account.